Hello there, a warm welcome to another edition of Tech Trends, your weekly journey into the world of tech, innovation, and creativity, all through an African lens. On the program this week, we feature Akowe, a Nigerian edtech startup helping educational institutions issue certificates digitally and securely using blockchain. Plus, Samuel Lubido, chairman of Tech Innovate Group, will be joining me later to discuss Nigeria's cybersecurity landscape and the role of international collaboration. We'll give you more in just a moment because there's so much to discover in the next 25 minutes of tech. Do stay with us. This is Tech Trends, and I'm Olayemi Oshidende.
It is difficult to think of a major industry that AI will not transform. This includes healthcare, education, transportation, communications, and agriculture. There are surprisingly clear paths for AI to make a big difference in all of these industries.
Nigerian edtech startup Akowe is redefining the future of education and careers by making academic credentials secure, accessible, and trustworthy. The online platform helps educational institutions issue certificates digitally and securely using blockchain technology.
Meet Ayodeji Agbola, the founder of Akowe, an edtech startup servicing the education sector in a different way. In a world where academic fraud is on the rise, the Nigerian startup is rewriting the future of credential verification.
At Akowe, we are building technology that can help verify academic records. And what inspires me about the people who work at Akowe today is how diligent and how much attention they pay to details, because what we're building is something that has to do with a lot of attention to detail. In Africa, the tertiary institutions still issue paper-based certificates, and therefore that has led to a problem around fake and forged credentials, academic records. And fake academic records exist because of economic pressures, the need for people to earn a living, and unfortunately there are no smart systems that people can use to verify the authenticity of academic records. And that's what Akowe is building. We're building an end-to-end smart system that anyone can use to verify the authenticity of academic records, as well as help institutions transition from manual paper-based certificates to digital certificates.
Using blockchain technology and artificial intelligence, Akowe is making certificate verification seamless in a record time of 5 minutes, a game changer for students, institutions, and employers.
The first is the certificate owner themselves. They spend a lot of time, energy trying to get their transcript, trying to get their certificates as at today. Sometimes they pay monies, they don't get their certificates verified and stuff like that. There's also the fact that the employers want to make sure they don't hire fraudulent people. Today, that's a big problem. And finally, the tertiary institutions themselves. We know that universities, not just Nigerian universities, universities across the world, they move very slowly when it comes to innovation, but we are building tools and technologies that would help them transcend these bureaucracies and make sure that they can issue credentials digitally using blockchain, and also, be a part of the solution for helping customers verify their credentials, instantly.
But it doesn't stop there. Beyond verification, Akowe is integrating AI-powered data querying, allowing users to easily access and interact with academic records.
We are also digitizing a lot of public academic records. And as of today, we have a lot of academic records that we've aggregated together on our platform. And what we are building out now is giving customers the ability to actually ask our data questions. The same way you would use popular large language models like ChatGPT to ask any questions, you would be able to come to our platform and ask our data questions. So for instance, you could say, how many first-class graduates graduated in Nigeria in 2022? And because we've integrated AI, it can look in through our data and give you a quick and effective answer. What we're using that AI to solve is 1, quick access to information, 2, verifiable data for HR firms, embassies, foreign universities, anyone who has the ability or need to actually verify academic records. They want this information, they want accurate information, and they want authentic information, and that's what we're building.
For students, it means faster, more secure access to their academic credentials. For employers, it ensures instant verification of qualifications. And for tertiary institutions, it offers a tamper-proof digital certification process, reducing certificate forgery.
We started thinking around the possibilities of including AI when we saw what large language models like ChatGPT could do, and we then started to build out the ability for our customers to be able to query our data. So even though we started out with the issuance platform, our issuance platform allows training organizations to issue certificates digitally. That basically uses blockchain for security and all of that. But in the verification of academic records, we're going to be going very heavy on AI and using that as a front end to customers querying our data in a very simple way. The data on which the AI model is trained most times is foreign data. So that's why culturally over here, we lack the ability to see solutions that are homegrown. But the solution is also very simple. We ourselves need to provide data to the AI models and train the AI models on our own data so that it knows exactly what you're trying to achieve, and it can be sort of culturally sensitive as well. So I don't think it's something insurmountable. Businesses just need to adopt the posture of, using AI and training it on our own data so that it can work for us.
But why AI? Akowe is building a homegrown solution, aggregating and training data over time to develop smart, locally relevant AI models, an approach that not only enhances verification but positions Nigeria as a leader in edtech innovation.
We have been aggregating our own data. These are public academic records from public sources and putting everything together on one single platform. And that's the data that we've been aggregating in the last 6 to 8 months. This data is about 300,000 records strong as of today, and we are constantly adding more records to it. And this is the data that we're using to train our AI models. We still remain an edtech company, even though we don't teach any courses or anything. We service the educational sector by providing these tools that help with administrative challenges, bottlenecks in issuance of certificates, as well as verification of academic records.
By combining AI and blockchain, the startup is changing the way credentials are issued, stored, and verified, setting a new standard for academic verification.
Imagine a world where robots are an integral part of our daily lives. From factories to homes, robots are revolutionizing the way we work and live. Meet the Walker S1, the world's first multi-humanoid robot collaboration. These robots can work together seamlessly, performing complex tasks with ease. The humanoid robot navigates this warehouse with multiple units, engaging in collaborative sorting and handling tasks, charging electric cars, and stocking heavy payload bins into shelves. The transition from single-agent robotic autonomy to swarm intelligence enables multiple humanoid robots to collaborate effectively across complex industrial workflows. This achievement also accelerates the creation of general humanoid workforce solutions in various industries. But robots aren't just about work. They're also getting smarter and more agile. Meet G1, a humanoid robot that can perform flawlessly kung fu moves. Unitary Robotics unveiled its robot, which they claim can flawlessly execute an array of kung fu moves and impressive roundhouse kicks, all while maintaining perfect balance. The sleek silver G1 robot, wearing a work badge, performs a seamless sequence of kung fu strikes in an urban alleyway. Its creator, Unitary Robotics, based in Hangzhou in China, says the robot features from 23 to 43 joint motors. Robots are also being used in law enforcement. These humanoid police robots can patrol streets and keep communities safe. In China, dozens of people are in awe as they crowd around the petite robot dressed in a high-vis police vest as it patrols the streets of Shenzhen. During its testing phase at Shenzhen-based robotics company, several humanoids walk, moving their arms and learning other movements. Shenzhen Anluo Technology Vice President Xiao Jingwen said that the company aims to use humanoid robots to replace manpower in certain jobs, emphasizing on positions that require round-the-clock shifts.
We'd like to use humanoid robots to replace manpower in certain cybersecurity operation jobs, mainly those tedious tasks that require someone to be on duty 24/7.
And in the world of robotics, innovation knows no bounds. Meet the PM01, the world's first front-flipping humanoid robot, according to its creator's engineer. The humanoid robot PM01 bends its legs before springing into the air, somersaulting and landing upright, one thing many humans cannot do. The PM01 was launched in December 2024 and is a smaller version of engineers' pioneering SE01, the firm's flagship humanoid robot, which is famous for its realistic walking ability. And finally, how about speed? For that, meet the Black Panther V2.1. The world's fastest quadruped robot. It can reach speeds of up to 10 meters per second. Chinese scientists have made history by developing the world's fastest quadruped robot, achieving the remarkable speed after 6 years of dedicated trials and modifications.
It is dedicated to the deep integration of scientific and technological innovation and industrial innovation. Therefore, in particular, the current research direction of humanoid robots is mainly a more perfect fusion of these mechanics with this machine, so that our humanoid robots can run faster and be more powerful.
The evolution of robots is transforming the world. With its seamless navigation, precision, and ability to learn, the next generation of robots is poised to make life easier, more efficient, and more enjoyable. And China seems to be at the forefront of the robotic revolution.
With millions of people and businesses relying on digital platforms daily, cybersecurity has become a major concern. To stay ahead of threats, both businesses and government institutions must strengthen their defenses. The UK-Nigeria Cybersecurity Inward Trade Mission is one initiative working to bridge this gap by building partnerships and driving solutions to boost digital security. Joining me to discuss Nigeria's cybersecurity landscape and the role of international collaborations is Samuel Obido, Chairman of Tech Innovate Group. Enjoy the chat. Thank you so much, Samuel Obido, Chairman of Tech Innovate Group. Thank you so much for joining us on Tech Trends.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Now, Samuel, you'd agree with me that Nigeria's digital space is, growing fast. We have over 100 internet users, 100 million internet users. We have so many startups and tech companies doing amazing stuff in the space. But this growth comes with increased cybersecurity risks, right? From your perspective, what are some of the biggest cyber threats we are facing currently?
So if you look at most nations, especially in Nigeria, we're going through a digital phase, and this is quite interesting. If you look at cybersecurity, we can break it into 3 elements: people, process, and technology. On the people side of things, social engineering is quite a key threat around what information is publicly available for people to research and use as attack surfaces into organizations. Secondly, insider threats. So what we're seeing is people can be paid to give out information or even try and consider to do internal frauds. So that's quite a big issue from the people's side of things. Let's talk about the process. A lot of companies, people come in and leave. The joiner, mover, leaver policy. Do we know how many staff or previous employees still have access to our systems? Auditing. How often are these systems being audited in terms of to make sure that they're secured, password correct, and configured to the right settings? And lastly, we talk about technology. So we see a lot of systems that are out of date. They're not patched or updated properly. They're not configured to the right security configuration. So these are some of the challenges and cyber threats which we are seeing in the ecosystem.
Yeah, people, processes, technology, those are the key items you've mentioned, right?
That's correct.
Highlighting, paying attention to the weaknesses, the vulnerabilities in cloud security. We've seen reports ranking Nigeria 7th globally for mobile malware attacks, and many organizations have experienced so many cloud security breaches. Why do you think Nigeria? I know it's not peculiar to us, but why do we remain such a target for such threats, attacks?
Sure. I would say if you look at for example, the fintech ecosystem in Nigeria, massive growth. So most of the unicorn out of Nigeria, out of Africa, comes from Nigeria. And if you look at also the mobile money ecosystem, and a lot of government services are being digitalized. So from an economy point of view, Nigeria sounds as a perfect target for sort of attackers to come and try to fit into. So I think a combination of the fintech ecosystem and also the growth in the digital ecosystem then makes us a prime target for external actors to come and try and see if they can sort of have a go at the systems and targets.
Well, you just mentioned, the good side, right? But what are the gaps that we need to address? What are the gaps that exist? The problems that we need to fix?
Sure. If you look at cybersecurity, let's start at the national level. We have the National Cybersecurity Framework or policy, and that document needs to be implemented. So that's through the NCCC, Nigeria Cybersecurity Coordination Center, on the ONSA and NSA. So firstly, the documents and the policies in that documentation needs to be implemented. Secondly, from an awareness point of view, are we as citizens aware of the NDPA, for example, or what cybersecurity regulations or even reporting bodies which we need to report these cyber attacks to? And lastly, from a capacity building point of view, are the government agencies or the people responsible to protect the cyber attacks? Do they have the right technology, training and skill sets to combat and battle these attacks?
Taking something from what you just said, awareness, right? Because what cybersecurity experts always end up saying is that the people, are the weakest link. It just takes one person, to click on one link and, everything blows up in our faces. But with these challenges that you've highlighted, it's clear that we need stronger cybersecurity measures, be it, policies or even infrastructure that need to be, to address these issues. Now, partnerships like the UK Nigeria's Cybersecurity Inward Trade Mission, which you are a part of, could be of help. So how can it help partnerships like that help Nigeria bridge these gaps?
Well, sure. So last week or this week, we've just completed the UK-Nigeria Cybersecurity Trade Mission. I must commend the team behind that because we've got good cooperation from the British side and also from the Nigerian side. If I highlight sort of three elements, one is around the knowledge sharing. So, for example, if you look at advanced economies, so where they have threat intelligence gathering sessions, industry workshop, cybersecurity leaders practices. These are sort of ecosystems we can adopt from our point of view. And secondly, from a technological point of view, we can have a look at what best practices, what tools are being used globally, and how can we adopt that in the local environment. And not only adopt that, how can we localize it also from the ecosystem? So from my point of view, Nigeria, as a nation, as a country, should sort of seek international partners also and learn from the best practices, how things have been done, and see how we can implement them and localize them to our local content. So definitely trade missions from the UK and also globally is of great benefit because it takes two things. One thing, saying cybersecurity is an important agenda for the government, which it is, and also a willingness to learn and collaborate in an international and a national level.
Of course, international collaborations are very important. You get to learn from those that have done it better, right?
That's correct.
And seeing as the mission is focusing on, how both private and public sector engagement, emphasizing, B2B connections and B2G collaborations is business to government, business to business, right? What are some of the cybersecurity concerns unique to, both the private sector and the public sector that we need to address?
Sure, I would say from a private sector point of view, the understanding of the regulation. So earlier in my career, I was part of a working group called E3CC, Energy Cybersecurity Commission, and the aim there was it got together all the group of energy companies in the UK, and then the cybersecurity leaders in those companies, and also the government, for us to exchange on a monthly basis. This is the regulation, we don't understand it, how can you support us, and what do we need? And through that, we had workshops with different partners to help us implement some of these policies. So private sector, they might be saying, SAM or Technovate, how do we implement some of these solutions? We need that help. That's number one. Number two, also budget. Now, economy is tight, so especially in terms of solutions built overseas, what local solutions are available to be used, to be implemented within the ecosystem. And lastly, capacity building. Do they have the right skill set and also the right competencies to deliver and use some of these toolings? I was speaking to a CEO yesterday, and he said, Sam, I have loads of tools which we've bought, but to be honest, we haven't got the team to use these tools to the right of their capability. From a government point of view, I would say around how do we implement the strategy? We've had a strategy document for a while now. Where is the status of implementation? What have we done? And what challenges, how do we have in terms of implementing this? And also sort of regulatory framework. So the right agencies, are they aware of the right roles and responsibility as far as cybersecurity is concerned?
You're absolutely right. It's not just about, developing the strategies. Implementation, execution is the key part of developing them. And of course, Nigeria offers great opportunities for cybersecurity companies, but adopting new security measures can be a bit challenging. How can international collaborations help?
That's a very fantastic question. I'll say, firstly, if you look at technological transfers, so what can we learn from global organizations and global countries? How can we get them into Nigeria to run workshops, training sessions? That could be a forum. At a government level, what working groups and what governmental levels relationships can we leverage to see how we can review our policies and learn essentially from how other countries have done it and how we can then adopt it locally, internally. And from a capacity building point of view, there's quite a lot of resources from different national and international certs or cybersecurity agencies which we can be using and start localizing to local content. Those are sort of the 3 points I'll sort of say how we can implement this.
Yeah, it doesn't even end at that. We also need to ensure that the tech companies look inwards, right, to implement some of those frameworks that have been laid out there, because we cannot wait for the government to do all the awareness and the campaigns. Everybody needs to look at the book, go into the books and see what do we need to do to ensure that we are not making ourselves prone to cyber threats. But, looking ahead, right, let's look ahead. What steps should Nigeria take to build a stronger and safer digital environment?
That's really good. What I'll focus firstly will be on the regulation has to be first, because regulation drives a stable framework and it points fingers at people that need to implement it. So this national cybersecurity policy which we have, that needs to be implemented, and a team needs to be responsible for ensuring that companies are adhering to those regulation and policies, working with local legislations and also working with industry experts. Secondly, a more collaborative ecosystem, I would explain. So we do a lot of startup events in Nigeria. How can we start doing hackathons around locally made cybersecurity solution? This does two things. One thing is it starts to solve the Nigerian cybersecurity problem with solutions built internally, and also it then fosters the ecosystem for capacity building. Because if you're building solutions for the ecosystem, that means you need to learn what to do, know how to do it, and you create the buzz and environment and jobs. Third thing would be around capacity building. So how do we then reach people around cybersecurity awareness? And I'm sure we're aware about the famous WhatsApp call. You just get a phone call from WhatsApp saying, hi, you've added into a group. Can you share me some 4-digit number to join a meeting? Next thing you know, your WhatsApp has been hacked and it's been used to commit fraud and ask people for money. How do you get cybersecurity awareness campaign at a national level, right? And include digital inclusion. So not just on TV, Twitter, social media, what code media or what radio stations, TV stations can we use to make sure the campaign is all compassing around everyone?
Just going back a little bit, hackathons are really a great idea, and we've seen a couple of them, right? But I guess what we should be talking about is the follow-ups. Once there's a winner, you take home the prize money. After them, what? What happens? Are they selected? Are they taken somewhere to be groomed and, groom the solutions and see how other people can do better? But anyway, we'll keep hoping that, all of our ideas and all of the solutions preferred, are taken into consideration. Thank you so much, Samuel Wido, Chairman of Tech Innovator Group, for joining us on Tech Trends.
Thank you very much. Bye for now.
And that's where we leave it for this week on Tech Trends. Thank you for tuning in. You can always relive this and past editions of the program on the channel's TV YouTube page. Don't forget to watch, share, and like your favorite episodes. Also remember, technology is not just about the future, it's about the here and now. And Africans are innovating to create impactful solutions for the continent. For Tech Trends, I'm Olayemi Oshidendi. Bye for now.